Díomh a cháirde, son Éirígí bhfuil an buchas a gháileh as a bheith an seo aniu chun cuoinú an 96 Comara de éirí amach na Casca 1960. Ba sa chathair seo, 96 bliain ó hen, a thug fear agus maná phoblachtánacha a saoilte agus iad sa tar hirsche na hÉireann agus bhainú poblachta sóisialaigh. Chasc, cuoinéimid thuisiúd a thug a saoilte go neamh leatlasach chun deara a chur le himpeúlachas na Bratainne in Argéir. Agus siomnaíonmuid muid hain de idéal an phoblachtánachas agus an tóisialachas. Agus de bhaint amach éire amach séir, áit ina dúrfar gean de chláán eile an náisiún mar chéile. First of all, I'd like to thank you all on behalf of Éirígí for being here today to commemorate the 96th anniversary of the 1916 Easter Rising. It was in this city 96 years ago that Republican men and women gave their lives in the pursuit of Irish freedom and for the establishment of a socialist republic. At Easter, we remember all of those who unselfishly gave their lives to end British imperialism in our country, and we rededicate ourselves to the ideals of republicanism and socialism and the achievement of a free Ireland in which all of the children of the nation are treated equally. Éirígí Daithí Ó Rian, Ráchas Gera, Hamish I Chaníla, a leo amach. I'll now call on Daithí Ó Rian to read out Connolly's last statement.
The last statement of James Connolly to the Field General Court Martial held at Dublin Castle on May 9, 1916. We went out to break the connection between this country and the British Empire and to establish an Irish Republic. We believe that the call we then issued to the people of Ireland was a nobler call in a holier cause than any call issued to them during this war having any connection to the war. We succeeded in proving that Irish men are ready to die, endeavouring to win for Ireland those national rights which the British government has been asking them to die to win for Belgium. As long as that remains the case, the cause of Irish freedom is safe. Believing that the British government has no right in Ireland, never had any right in Ireland and never can have any right in Ireland, the presence in any one generation of Irishmen, of even a respectable minority, ready to die to affirm that truth, makes that government forever a usurpation and a crime against human progress. I personally thank God that I have lived to see the day when thousands of Irish men and boys and hundreds of Irish women and girls were ready to affirm that truth and to attest to it with their lives if needs be. Signed, James Connolly, Commandant General of the Dublin Division, Army of the Irish Republic.
Gurma Hagad Dahi. Ermanish Martin Farrell for Orgra and Réaltas Shealadig Alewamach. I'm now going to call on Martin Farrell to read out the proclamation by the Provisional Government to the citizens in Dublin on the 25th of April 1916.
The Provisional Government to the citizens of Dublin. The Provisional Government of the Irish Republic salutes the citizens of Dublin on this, the momentous occasion of the proclamation of sovereign independent Irish state, now in course of being established by Irish men in arms. The Republican forces hold the lines taken up at 12 noon on Easter Monday, and nowhere, despite fierce and almost continuous attacks of the British troops, have the lines been broken through. The country is rising in answer to Dublin's call, and the final achievement of Ireland's freedom is now, with God's help, only a matter of days. The valour, self-sacrifice and discipline of Irish men and women are about to win for our country a glorious place among the nations. Ireland's honour has already been redeemed. It remains to vindicate her wisdom and her self-control. All citizens of Dublin who believe in the right of their country to be free will give their allegiance and their loyal help to the Irish Republic. There is work for everyone, for men in the fighting line and for women in the provision of food and first aid. Every Irish man and Irish woman worthy of the name will come forward to help their common country in this her supreme hour. Able-bodied citizens can help by building barricades in the streets to oppose the advance of the British troops. The British troops have been firing on our women and on our Red Cross. On the other hand, Irish regiments in the British Army have refused to act against their fellow countrymen. The provisional government hopes that its supporters, which means the vast bulk of the people of Dublin, will preserve order and self-restraint. Such looting has already occurred and has been done by hangers-on of the British Army. Ireland must keep her new honour unsmirched. We have lived to see an Irish Republic proclaimed. May we live to establish it firmly, and may our children and our children's children enjoy the happiness and prosperity which freedom will bring. Signed on behalf of the Provisional Government, P.H. Pearce, Commandant-in-Chief of the Forces of the Irish Republic and President of the Provisional Government.
Gurmila Mahagada Martin. Anish Bawalam Falch a chur of Joe Keegan a tachan Aaron Achanadoon down by the Glenside. I'd now like to welcome Joe Keegan, who's going to sing for us Down by the Glenside.
'Twas down by the glenside I met an old woman, a plucking young nettles. She ne'er saw me coming. I listened a while to the song she was humming. Glory, oh, to our bold Fenian men. 'Tis many long years since I saw the moon beaming on strong manly forms, their eyes with hope gleaming, and I see them again in all my sad dreaming. Glory, oh, to our bold Fenian men. Some died by the glenside, some died mid a stranger, and the wise men have told us the cause is a failure. Yet they stood by old Ireland, and they never feared danger. Glory, oh, to our bold Fenian men. Now I passed on my way, God be praised that I met her. Be life long or short, sure I'll never forget her. We may have brave men, but we'll never have better. Glory, oh, to our bold Fenian men.
Gurmila Mahagada Joe. Anisha Corja Corgi Faltimore Riv Príomh Chainteoir and Chamara Shaw, Councillor Louise Minahan.
Gurmahagus Ursula. Comrades, we are gathered here today to honour and remember all those who gave their lives in pursuit of Irish freedom. 96 years ago, the men and women of the Irish Volunteers and Irish Citizens Army went out to take on the might of the British Empire and strike a blow for freedom. That struggle for a socialist republic continues today. Easter is a very special time for Republicans, when we remember those in every generation who made the ultimate sacrifice for Irish freedom, when we recommit ourselves to achieving our aims of national liberation and socialism, and when, in the words of Pearce, we are rebaptised in the Fenian faith. 96 years ago, the men and women of Easter week set out their vision for the Socialist Republic in the proclamation. For us as Republicans, the proclamation is a living document that is as relevant today as it was in 1916, but its vision has yet to be achieved. Our country is still divided and under foreign occupation. The 6 counties are under an illegal British occupation, and the 26th county state is now under the colonial control of the EU, IMF, ECB troika. Not by force of arms as in the case of the British, but because of being sold off to the highest bidder in Europe by a political class of bankers, developers, speculators and corrupt politicians. For what died the sons of Roisin? Was it greed? This is the situation that faces socialist Republicans in Ireland today. Our fight for national liberation must be waged on 2 fronts. It must be waged against the British occupation in the north and against the might of European imperialism in the south. In this climate, the Republican message has become all the more relevant to the Irish working class. Cutback after cutback has shown their communities that capitalism does not work and an alternative is needed. We are that alternative. Over the course of the last 20 years, the Republican movement has gone through a number of betrayals by former comrades and has suffered a number of tactical defeats from our enemies. The last 15 years have been some of the most disillusioning years for Republicans in living memory. Comrades, the days of disillusionment are over. Slowly and steadily, a new vibrant, militant Republican movement has been building from the ashes of the old. A movement led by a new generation of Irish Republicans committed to challenging British rule and the capitalist system. A movement of socialist republicanism dedicated to the politics of James Connolly. Our war for the national liberation is the class war. For our struggle to be successful, Republicans must build links in working class communities across Ireland. Our movement must become the engine of the people's struggle. Socialist republicanism represents the best vehicle to lead the people's fight back and resistance to the oppression of British and international imperialism. And by building political strength in our communities, this struggle can be taken forward to victory. We should take our inspiration in this task from the words of the great Scottish socialist republican John McLean. I appeal to all comrades to be up and doing. Those of you who have lapsed, return. Those who have lost heart, cheer up. Those who have heart, pull in the indifferent and stimulate dormant or defunct branches. There are those who claim that the fight for national liberation is over. There are those who claim the national struggle was settled by a British treaty in 1998. Some believe that Irish republicanism should be a thing of the past. But in the words of Padraig Pearse, they think that they have pacified Ireland. They think that they have purchased half of us and intimidated the other half. They think that they have foreseen everything, think that they have provided against everything. But the fools, the fools, the fools, they have left us our Fenian dead. And while Ireland hold these graves, Ireland unfree shall never be at peace. Comrades, the struggle for national liberation remains as relevant today as it was in 1916. It remains the unfinished business of all Republicans. As we gather to remember all those who died for Irish freedom, we must also remember that today men and women are being held in British jails in Ireland because of their Republican beliefs. Sadly today, Britain continues its futile attempts to label the Republican struggle as criminal. As we gather today, Republican prisoners in Maghaberry are on a protest against this inhumane regime. Isolation, vicious assaults and the violent and grading strip searches are once again the daily routine of Republican prisoners in British jails in Ireland. Men and women who would not be in jail but for the British occupation find themselves with no option left but to go on prison protest as their only form of resistance to this latest criminalisation policy. Political status was hard fought for and won, and shouldn't be taken away by a puppet government administering British rule in Ireland. And I call for the August 2010 agreement to be implemented immediately. I would also like to condemn the practice of revoking the licences of ex-prisoners who remain opposed to the occupation of our country. Interment under any other name is still interment, and I would like to take this opportunity to call for the immediate release of Marion Price, Martin Corey, Jerry McKeough and Gary McAdam. As we leave here today, we do so knowing that we are on the right path. The path of Lawler, Tone, Connolly, Ryan, Costello and Sands. Republicans who died for their beliefs. They refused to settle. They refused to surrender. So shall we. I would like to finish with the words of a young Irish Citizen Army volunteer during the 1916 Rising, who continued to play an active role in the Socialist Republican struggle until her death in 1981. Her name was Nora Connolly O'Brien. For many centuries, we in Ireland have had an unbroken tradition of each generation having an armed uprising against Britain. In my generation, we had an armed uprising in 1916 with the proclamation of freedom of the Republic of Ireland. Here we are rising again, and if we'll go down, we'll rise again. Bear bua.
Gurmíle mahagad Louise. Son Éirígí a cordra bawalum ar muikas a gawalev as the vehan sholin in you. Agus corhim with Geralish and Gomorrah Shaw le Glasnevin. So thanks very much, Louise. On behalf of Éirígí, I'd like to thank you all for being here with us today. We're going to finish this commemoration today with Glasnevin, so I'd ask you all to stand for Glasnevin.